This is unbelievable. Hello, Hankerin. Brandon.
Yo!
Ingrid, what do you go by? You've got a billion names. What would you prefer?
All of those at the same time. You just pick the one that feels right in the moment.
Oh, well, I think for continuity, we'll just go with Hankerin. How's that sound?
Awesome.
Excellent. Fantastic. So, welcome to your dicey discussion. How are you feeling about that today? You feeling good?
Absolutely. Always.
Excellent, excellent. So how this is going to work, I'm going to ask you to roll a D100. There'll be 50 questions that are the hobby related, so TTRPG, D&D related. There will be 50 that are not. So you might not get any questions that are related to the hobby. So
now, are the low ones the hobby ones or the high ones?
You're going to have to find out.
Oh my God! I don't even know what I'm rolling for here. All right.
You don't know what you're rolling for. We're going random blind.
Random blind.
Yeah.
That's how I like it. You ready?
Excellent. So we're going to go. It's 30 minutes. We like to do things quick here. So we're going to go for 30 minutes. All right? Excellent. Your time starts now, Hankerin.
All right. First roll is 10 exactly.
10 exactly. Just so you know, I do have the questions here. There we are. They are all random. Number 10.
This table will be provided later.
What is your third favourite movie?
Third favorite movie. Well, I guess I'd have to work my way down, right? Third favorite would probably be Predator.
Oh.
Yeah.
I need you to explain yourself there. Just to give a bit of context. That is my favourite film.
Well, hey, it's definitely a top 10 for a lot of people. But you know, it's hard to just like blanket say that a movie is just like your favorite, like you want to watch it like a million times. But I have to go on the formative quality of movies. So when it comes to the formative nature of movies, I'd probably have to go, the first place would be Conan the Barbarian, which is not a movie I want to watch all the time. You know, and it's like very specific. It's not that emotionally complicated, a little bit of a flat movie. But as a youngster, when that came out, that was massively formative to me. And then the second one, I would probably have to say the first Alien film. And again, it comes with a formative comment because some of the other Alien films I actually like better as a movie. But Alien was, I think I was 8 years old. And to my mother's pure rage, I actually went and snuck in and saw that in the theater by myself at 8 years old.
8 years old.
Is not recommended. Do not do this. There's like psychological damage.
How many sleepless nights after that?
Oh my, it was so terrible. But at the same time, it was hugely formative to me in that like it shaped how I imagine things in this kind of scary way. And instead of that being a place of dread, it sort of became like a place of pride for me because I kind of felt like an older kid than I actually was because I was kind of grappling with, you know, like watching Creepshow and watching all the late 70s and early 80s horror and like coping with it because it was so unfiltered back then. And I think those would have to be my top three, not because I just want to watch them over and over. They're kind of cliche choices, but they put these archetypes in my head that I find myself playing out again and again.
Going back to, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, third place for Predator. I can't say you're right. But, you know, we'll go with it. Okay.
We ain't got time to bleed. We only got 30
We ain't got
minutes.
time to bleed. So, let's get on to the next roll. Come on, Brandish.
All
Let's
right.
go.
Next roll here. Let's get some higher numbers here. We got 88.
Oh my word, 88. Let me flick through the sheets here. Two Fat Ladies, 88. Are you familiar with Bingo, Brandish?
Bingo?
Bingo, yeah.
The game of bingo.
The
sure.
game of bingo, because I do have all of the bingo numbers in. So Two Fat Ladies, 88, because they resemble Two Fat Ladies. So I'll throw them in every now and again. So, okay, so number 88, Two Fat Ladies. What's something universally popular that you just don't like?
Ooh, that's spicy.
It is.
Something universally popular that I just plain don't like.
Can be a movie, can be a food, can be a band, anything.
It would probably be, well, can I even say that? I'd have to take a cheesy answer, especially, I'm going to consider this a role-playing question.
Sure.
I'd have to say it is like modern D&D.
Yeah.
Now, it has proven to be absolutely colossal in its popularity, and Lord knows has helped my business, but I just can't get my juices flowing with it. I just can't, I can't make the magic happen. And I keep trying, over the last, what has it been, almost 12 years now?
Long time.
Yeah, keep trying to come back to it and be like, well, how bad could it be? You're being really harsh on this. And each time I come back and I find myself just going, but it's generally an opinion I try to somewhat keep on the down low because I don't want to ruin anybody's good time.
No, of course. But, some of us do. No, I would never do that. I would never do that. Absolutely not.
Cool. And also pictures of food.
Oh, pictures of food. Oh, something you dislike. Noted. Cool. Let's get another roll.
Okay, here we go. Roll number 3. 52.
52. Number 52.
What's the bingo designation?
Danny LaRue. Number 52. I think some of these, having looked through them, it's just because they rhyme.
Yes, and I have no way to verify them, so you could say almost anything.
So, number 52. How generous of a gift giver would you consider yourself? So, how generous of a gift giver?
Oh man, I'm the absolute worst. To the point of risking personal ruin.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I am the worst. That is probably my most vulnerable habit that I have is I don't keep track of all of the stuff that I love to sort of either give or share. And it's too much.
Right, okay.
So I need an exterior person to tell me to slow down with it.
Right, okay.
Yeah, which is a big help. Because in my mind, it's just like there's just sort of objects in the world and it's like how the Fraggles do their economy.
Yeah.
In the Fraggle economy, there's no individual ownership, but there is temporary stewardship. So if you have a shiny pebble, for example, it is yours in the sense that you are caring for that pebble. But it is not yours in that it shouldn't just be passed along when the moment feels right. And I feel that way with a lot of stuff. So I've actually had spikes of it here and there. One of the more notorious ones was, I was living in Colorado at the time, and I was building nitro radio controlled cars. So that's just what I was doing. And I had a little fleet of them, 4 of them, and they're amazing little machines. They're insanely fast, and you need all this expensive fuel and all the radio stuff and all the spare parts. And I had all these cool bins, and I'm doing it like how an adult does a hobby, right?
Yeah.
When you do a hobby, you start throwing money at it and get the cool stuff. That's kind of the fun of it. It's
Absolutely.
But anyway, there was a kid in the neighborhood who was getting into just little electric radio control cars. And, his family wasn't, rolling in money or anything like that. And one day I saw him out there, ripping his little car. And I don't know why, I just got my whole setup, the whole thing. And I got it on a little rolly cart. And I just went over to his house and I was like, yo, you ought to get into some of these nitro cars. And he's like, wow, these are really cool. And I'm like, okay, there you go. Later. And just cruised. And the people that I was around at the time were quite shocked that I did that. And honestly, 2 days later, I was like, what the hell? What have I done?
What did I do?
All my cool ass nitro cars. But there's something about that I just get such a kick out of it.
Yeah.
I always kind of like am stung a little bit afterward, but I've kind of talked about that on YouTube too with like my RPG book collection. Like I'll have these weird moments. I'll take like one shelf and extract it and like go put it into like the community book box, you know, or give it to some neighborhood kid or whatever. And then a week later be like, oh no.
If you could make a note just to let Brandish know my birthday. That'd be good, yeah.
Right. Just
So, even
I
though
sent you
over
40
to
books and I actually want you to send them back.
Right, let's do another roll.
All right. Another roll. That one was easy and fun. We got 73 here. My birth year.
Your birth year, 73. Let's make it a good one.
A prime number both forward and back. An eMERP.
There you go. Educational. While I'm
What's the bingo on 73?
The bingo on 73 is Queen Bee.
Queen Bee 73. I like it.
Would you consider yourself a dice goblin? And if you do, how many sets of dice do you own?
Well, easy answer, absolutely. If a dice goblin is what I interpret it to be, which is where you have way more than you need.
Too many,
and constantly lusting after more of them.
Yeah.
As far as how many, I have a large cubic box. It's an old like computer box that is filled to the absolute brim with dice. So I really don't know how many that is. We could actually probably run a charity on trying to guess how many thousands are in there.
Definitely should.
But yeah, easily into the thousands. Like, I guess it would be about as much as like a construction bucket full.
Wow. That's
like 5 gallons of dice, 3 gallons of dice.
Would you say admitting you've got a problem is the first step?
Hey, man, it's been like over 30 years. I think it's all right. I think I'm okay.
I think you're all right. Okay. Do you have one particular set of dice that you're using at the moment?
Yes. Well, I use the Runehammer dice, which are going to be coming out soon. But I've kind of wandered around, but I got to be a little bit boring on this one. Yeah. I do wind up, and I'm a little bit known for this on the internet, but I do wind up coming back to like solid, opaque, yellow Chessex dice. After all this bullshit, the cool metal ones and like everything you can get, it's all so cool.
Ones with rubber ducks in them and all sorts.
Yeah, wind up with these old school, they're like $5 for a whole set, like, and they just, I don't know, I'm at home with them. So I probably have, 10 sets of just the solid yellow Chessex so that I have multiples of everything. And I just wind up on those same damn boring ass dice like week after week. I don't have an explanation for it.
Sometimes, you just got to go with it,
Yeah, it's just simple. It just, it kills me when emotions are running high at the table and somebody throws something and this is like an hour buildup for this one role that we've negotiated our way into, and a character's life is like riding on this thing, and it tumbles across the table slowly, and there's a moment of like, wait a minute, I can't read it. And someone, I hate that. That drives me insane. So I like an insanely easy to read die.
I think, Is this a 7 or a 1? I don't...
Yeah, and there's a brief moment when your emotions like crash onto the rocks of your existential doubts, and there's 10 to 15 seconds of pure just white hot annihilation as you don't know what's going to happen. That's unacceptable.
So simple dice.
Simple, clear die, yeah.
Simple, clear die. Excellent. Right, let's have your 5th or 6th roll, whatever it might be.
All right, here we go. Let's do it. 93.
93.
Up in the top.
What's a TTRPG player cliche that's actually true?
Like a meme that rings true?
Yeah, you sort of watch it and go, yeah.
Well, there's more of them that are true about players than about GMs. GMs are vastly misunderstood. I would have to say it's wizard takes forever.
Yeah.
Like,
okay.
Yeah, there's 5 minutes for all your player turns and 5 minutes for the wizard turn. Like, whatever the exponent of everyone else combined equals 1 unit of time for your wizard.
For a wizard.
Yeah, and hey, no shade, bro. But this is just real. They're just like living in Wizardland, and you just happen to be a guest.
Just like, here we go. Okay. Sit back, guys. Anyone want to crack up another beer? Go.
Oh, yeah. And even if they know exactly what they're doing, there's still some other time-consuming aspect of being a wizard which must be discussed. Even if it's like I'm casting magic missile, it'd be like, oh my god, it's a miracle, and they'll be like, but. Every stinking time.
Every time. Excellent. So we're about halfway through. Still feeling good about this, Brandish? How's it feeling for you halfway through?
Oh, we're flying now. We're flying. We're way past the intro.
Excellent. Let's go.
All right, I'm ready. I wonder what happens if I can get a repeat. 83.
83. Time for tea? 83.
Oh. How did the English manage to only put that on one number, though? I mean, that could be half the numbers.
I think there are a few in here. So, number 83. What's the most expensive piece of TTRPG paraphernalia that you've bought?
It has to be a single piece?
If you
not
describe
a combined,
it... I'll
not a set of something. I think it would probably be Bloodwing.
Okay.
So what was it? This was 2 years ago. The finale of my OSE group. We did go up against a Titanic ancient dragon. So the kind of the bucket list item of D&D, where the dragon is, it needs to be about the size of a coffee table. It can't be one of these kind of, hey guys, imagine it's bigger things. No, you need to be able to walk on this thing. And it takes like 3 moves to get from one end to the other. You need all those effects to make that final thing really work. And so I kind of shopped around and I just didn't feel like I was finding it. And I was at this really cluttered, like poorly organized shop out in central PA. And they had this colossal dragon, and it had been discontinued. I hadn't seen it. I think it came from like the early 2000s somewhere. Unpainted but primed. God, I wish I knew the name of it off the top of my head, but massive, absolutely massive. And I think it was like on sale for like $180.
Right.
Because no one was buying it. It was like, had all this dust on it. It had been sitting there forever.
No one was having
It's too ridiculous for anyone to spend that money. But it's like a tax write-off for me. So, so I just went for it. And like, just to give it like, you know how you do green tone at the end of a miniature? You might do a little shadow wash. So I wanted to do a green shadow wash on the whole model. And it took 4 bottles of green tone.
So I'll allow that to go on the total price as well.
Okay, so if that goes on the price, we're up into like 220 or so.
Just because it's part of the story.
Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
That is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But thanks for the tax write-off tip there. I'll remember that one if you could make it.
Oh, yeah. Just start a role-playing company and you'll be flying.
Awesome. Right, let's do another roll.
All right. Here we go, and we got 75.
75. Strive and strive, apparently, whatever that means.
Strive and strive for 75.
Yep. What's the worst and best thing about playing D&D or TTRPGs over video?
Oof. Okay. The worst thing is that it feels like work. And anything that feels like work sucks.
Yeah.
There we go. All right, let's just get that out of the way. It's so tiring.
Yeah.
It makes you so fatigued. And it could be the best friends you've ever had. And it still just makes you hella tired. Okay, so that's the worst part. The best part, I think a lot of people would probably say like maps here or visual immersion or something like that. But I honestly think that the tabletop is always cooler. Like touching plastic things is cooler. So I don't think that's it. I think the best part for me is probably the controllability of the audio.
Okay.
Especially if you have a good tool, like sort of, there are several of them, but we don't need to like go plug anyone. But if you have like an easy to use multi-tracker, and you can blend and curate music from a huge collection. It's at least the way that I do games, it is hugely powerful. Whereas at the table, I'm getting pretty good at it. I am near like David Copperfield levels, but it takes a very clever sleight of hand at the table for people not to be disrupted, to see that you're actually either blending or changing music when they're not looking. But if you can get away with it, it always blows people's minds every single time. If you're clever with changing music with uncanny timing to either a dice roll or to what someone is saying or a monologue or a some kind of high peril or emotional moment, if they don't know you're doing it and they think it's just serendipity or it's just chance, their minds are always blown. Now, if they see you like change the track or crossfade something, for some reason they no longer are impressed. But if they don't notice, it's great. And so when you're playing on VTT, of course, they can't see your hands at all.
You can just be there.
So you can be in there masterminding the music, and it feels like it's just accidentally building as they do this monologue or something. But you're completely like working these sliders behind the scenes to, you know, almost do it like a television station controller.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that's my favorite part, but very hard to do that live at the table. You really have to be like a street magician to do it live at the table. But you still must try.
Got to try, haven't you? Practice makes perfect, as I say. That's it.
That's right. And you learn to keep your right hand like casually sitting by your phone where your Spotify controls are. And so you can just give a little bit of a glance and kind of change things on occasion, knowing your playlists really well. So it can be done.
When the Wizard's having his go, that's prime.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. But if you get caught looking at your phone, you're out. You're disqualified.
That's it. Done. Yeah, another roll. Let's go.
All right, let's do it. Ooh, 97.
97.
Almost at the top. I almost hit the bell.
What question, and just to make you aware, there is no bingo call for this because bingo calls only go up to number 90. So, you know, disappointing.
See, that's why it's losing players.
Damn.
It's waning, my friend.
Not in the bingo
is waning.
not in the bingo hall near me. Gala bingo.
The age of bingo is withering.
So, number 97. What question would you most like to be asked in an interview about the hobby?
Meta. Would I most like to be asked? You know, I had a really good one. I was very fortunate to be interviewed for the Philadelphia Inquirer about a week and a half ago. It's the oldest newspaper in North America. So a young publication by your standards.
Yeah. I do live in the oldest recorded town in Britain, so you know.
Yeah, so this is you know basically just a pulp magazine from your standards, but she was really great, and her question to me was about my bookshop that I'm opening up, and she just sort of asked like, I know that you've been online and you have a thing, you got a sort of a YouTube presence and whatnot. So what does this like mean to you? To open the shop. And that to me was like an extremely heavy duty question.
Yeah.
Like, talk about open-ended.
Yeah.
But that was really fun because I don't think I had taken the time to even think about what that answer may have been. So regardless of what that answer may be, it was really proof of masterful interviewing, I think, because I was like, my first response was like, I have no idea. I'm just like the Joker. I'm a dog chasing cars. I don't know what I'm doing. I have no idea what this means to me. And so there's a moment of being like, wow, like going back into the black hole. It's like at the end of Interstellar where everything's going into like that bubble view.
Yeah.
That's how
all
I
the
felt
lights
for
and
a moment.
sounds going, whoa.
Yeah, and the sound gets weird and there's that organ and everything.
Yeah.
I think that's, again, like years are passing on Earth, but you feel like only seconds have passed. I think that was one of the better ones that I've heard recently, just because it gave me a chance to actually stop and think, which I just never do. And I don't mean it as an exaggeration. I am a lot like the Joker. I do just go completely on impulse, and usually with very little outcome in mind. I really am almost blindsided by the outcome every time. It's just like there's just a thing going by and I just chase it. I don't know what would happen if I ever caught the cars that I was chasing. It just sort of happens. So that was a great question.
So we're down to our last 5 minutes.
Oh.
Let's get another roll in.
All right.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Feeling it. 47.
47. Can you guess what the bingo call for 47 might be?
47, looks like, I don't know, go to heaven, 47? Do they all rhyme?
It is 4 and 7, 47.
Come on.
Like I said, you've been quite educational to me today. That's. I hope I'm bringing the same to the table here. Okay, so question number...
Two Fat Ladies was your best material. It's gone downhill from there.
Damn. Peaked too early. Standard. Okay, so number 47. What is your favourite race in the hobby? That's a wide question, but we're gonna.
Oh wow! I thought you were going to talk sports for a minute. I was going to say Isle of Man by far.
Oh really? Oh well, yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm a man of taste.
I'm not a man. I'll be honest. I'm not a man of racing, but yeah, that's madness. I love it.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Second place would be Paris Dakar, but you don't mean race.
No.
You mean species, subspecies, demi-human.
Yes.
Favorite? Well, sheesh. I mean, if you look at my play record, it would definitely be dwarves. Only because they fit my archetype really well. I always play like an older, veteran, retired dwarf. And I like the standpoint of role-playing where my time is over. And I'm kind of like being dragged back into it and not fully able. That's like a sort of a trope that I play over and over and over again. Like a guy who used to be a commander and used to do cool stuff, but is now kind of broke down and kind of has seen too much and wait, I have to go on this adventure? Oh, great. So I play that a lot, but I would have to say just more like spiritual favorite would probably be what we call Proudfoots, which are like halflings.
Like halflings, yeah.
But in our world, Proudfoot is it is kind of like a halfling, but it's kind of they're almost like Western in our world. They're like cowboy-esque slightly.
Oh, okay.
Like all the equestrians in our world are mostly Proudfoot people. Like humans don't really mess with horses that much, but Proudfoots always will. Because they have sort of a way with animals and stuff like that. So anytime they pop up in the game, as a GM, I probably show favoritism to them. I'm just going to admit it. I just do because I just love them. They're just awesome. But I don't play them a ton. I have a hard time playing like the tiny, sort of Frodo spiritual leader kind of type. I have a very hard time being that. I think I'm a little too gruff.
So the veteran,
for that character.
the old veteran. I
play the old veteran, but I also The Hobbit was one of the first books that I read, like learning to read.
Yeah.
So I learned to read by reading The Hobbit when I was really small, and that puts such an indelible mark on your soul.
Yeah.
That that and nothing makes you understand those people more than that book. I mean, that is like the deep comprehension of what a halfling or a hobbit might be. And it's hard not to, I think this is true for almost everyone. It's hard not to just be like, yeah, that's like the best of us.
Right, we have 1 minute left. So
okay.
We're going to roll. And
let's do a lightning round.
See what comes. Yeah.
It's 57. I got a lot of sevens on this.
Got
57.
A lot of sevens, haven't you? So 57. Heinz Varieties is the bingo call. So Heinz 57, if you're familiar with
love it.
Heinz.
Okay, that's a good one. All right,
there you go.
You've been redeemed.
Back.
You've been redeemed.
So, favourite big bad you've ever run?
Favorite
big
arch villain that I've ever run. it might be a little bit cliche, but I'd have to say Lord Soth, the heartbroken D&D Lord of the undead host. He's got his bucket helmet and his rose on his armor. And I don't think we did anything properly or as the way that we're supposed to do. I don't think we read enough material to properly play Lord Soth. But it didn't matter because we had him in our flow it was probably about a 4-year lifespan there that he was our enemy. And he was an enemy that was basically like Magneto.
Yeah.
Where you really didn't want to beat him, but you kind of had to.
You've got no choice.
But then you kind of didn't want to, but then he flipped around, but then he flipped again. And that just kind of went on in a way that he became like part of our family.
Yeah.
in a way that like his eventual defeat was really like heartbreaking. And that is not an easy thing to achieve in gaming, is to see heartbreak in a group. That's real. That's substantive. That isn't just you feel heartbroken. That doesn't count. You've got to see it in people's faces of like, oh no, and I think we achieved that. And the not wanting to but having to.
Yeah.
And seeing that anguish happen in real time, I think is like pay dirt. Even though the monster itself was so cliche and so like basic, it's just like, oh, I don't know, a mind flayer, it's such a go-to.
Yeah.
And what is he really? He's just like a skeleton in armor. He's like the most boring, but he became, sort of our Batman in a way. He became very deep and textured and complex, and it really had a great crescendo to it.
So what you're saying is you just strive to break players' hearts.
Absolutely.
Constantly.
I mean, if you don't have like a streak of sadism, you're going to make a terrible GM.
That's it, you're done.
You have to have a little bit. I mean, there's got to be some, otherwise you just wind up nerfing everything. You kind of, you want to back away from the pain because nobody wants to inflict pain. Oh, wait, I remember, except sadists.
Yeah.
So you have to find some joy in that, like, as they say in the military, embrace the suck. You have to find some joy in telling a person to just, well, that's just how it happened. And like, you have to feel, so yeah, I do love being a heartbreaker. That's like one of the best parts.
Brandish Gilhelm, heartbreaker. Look out, here he comes. Run for the hills.
There's nowhere to run.
Well, that is our questions done. I hope you've enjoyed your dicey discussion with me today, Brandish.
Absolutely.
I will ask a bonus question. What have you got on at the moment? What's happening in your life that you'd like to share?
Well, I am very fortunate right now to have 2 really great groups. So that's foundational to what I do. I need the fuel of actually doing what this is all about. And I think it's really easy, especially here we're in 2024. There is a lot of peripheral cognitive sponging going on that isn't just the friends and we meet and we sit and we do our thing and we go home. Like that being the true like pillar that holds all of this up. So it's not that like the other stuff is bad or anything, but for me personally, I just really need that root, it's just like hitting the gym. It's just a foundational part of being human to me. It's like to do that. So if I don't have groups, it's terrible. So I'm really fortunate to have 2 really good dedicated ones right now. So that's like always on my mind. Every week I'm needing to come back with something new, something better, something surprising, something terrible, something funny. And that is the main grind that I do. And then, of course, on the side, I happen to have Runehammer, which is publishing books and now opening a bookstore here in my neighborhood and figuring all that out, getting all the it's not even built. We have to build it.
How is that going? All right?
Yeah, so I have to get the permits from the city, and I got the contractors, and I'm having custom furniture built, and then establishing wholesale accounts and going on these massive shopping runs to stock my inventory and, trying to curate out the things that seem obvious, but make sure you're kind of, making a reputable store that represents the neighborhood. And all that stuff is fun.
Yeah.
But it can be a cognitive overload, but it is secondary to like what this is all about.
Yeah.
Which really is just, there's 5 people, and last night we rented out the top floor of a bar, and we had that whole floor, and we put the big table right in the middle of it to be obnoxious, so we're using up way too much space, and we played for 4.5 hours, and had all our Dwarven Forge out on the table, and everybody's yelling and kind of standing by the end, hit your head on the chandelier kind of stuff. And then it's time to go home.
Yeah.
And that is what all this hubbub and this business and paying bills and doing Patreon and doing YouTube and this interview, that is what it all kind of returns to.
Yeah.
So that's really where I dwell as far as the whole hobby and everything goes. It's that grind just is what I've been doing for almost as long as I can remember. That's just kind of what I do. It's just how I operate. And every once in a while, you just got to bail. For a year, no D&D.
Done.
I can't take it any longer. You're just out. I'm going to go play pickleball for a year.
Go play bingo. Come on.
Yeah. Play some bingo. Everybody shut up. Quit emailing me. It's not happening. And then come back with a vengeance. But I think it's always important to, anytime I get any kind of platform, to bring all this kind of shit back to that center, not about reviews and hot takes and opinions and scandal and all this BS, but always back again and again and again, back to that little campfire that we're all gathered around. So that's definitely kind of where I'm living right now. I'm in the middle of those 2 groups, and 3 is almost impossible for me. So 2 groups is like a job, and you're kind of ping-ponging them in a way. You're kind of they need to envy each other. So you need to tell them about each other.
Do you have the same people in the groups, or are they?
No, they're 2, and they don't even know each other.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm doing a social butterfly kind of dance, right? Because they're from completely different worlds.
Yeah. And
have never met. But I can definitely tell them, oh yeah, the other guys, they're slightly cooler than you, and here's why. And they'll be like, what? I'm like, well, hey, I don't know. Maybe you'll do something cool tonight. Maybe not. I don't know.
Maybe do it a bit more like them next time,
Yeah, maybe it could be a little bit more like my good children. They came out right. Why do you look so funny? And so on.
And so on. Keep poking and poking. Amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, I'm taking that tactic. That's one for the bank as well.
Yeah.
Well, Brandish, it has been a pleasure today. It's honestly been
absolutely
great. Thank you very much for taking part in your dicey discussion. Anything else you'd like to say, or is it just a goodbye?
No, I think it's just let me know how I can signal bump you guys and keep the fun train rolling.
Amazing. We will do. Thank you very much, Brandish. Pleasure.
Cool.
Take it easy.
You too.